Hey guys, I hope everyone's day is going well. First off, I know it has been a very long time since I uploaded a video on this channel, so I apologize for the lack of uploads. I've been super busy with a bunch of other things in my life. All good things, not to worry. But yes, I still yo-yo, I still do yo-yo reviews, and I'd love to do some tutorials in a little bit. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today, we've got a very exciting yo-yo to review, and it's a signature yo-yo of one of my very good friends in the yo-yo community. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the MK1 YoYos HD. This is a killer yo-yo, definitely one of the best yo-yos that I've tried recently, so without any further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out to MK1 YoYos and the owner Mark specifically for sending me this yo-yo. Super generous of them to send this to me and let me do a review. I'll be sure to link all of their different contact information and website in the description down below, so when you finish up with this video, be sure to check them out. So let's chat a little bit about the HD. So for starters, this is the signature yo-yo of Connor Sheehan. Connor has been a long-time player in the yo-yo community. He has grown so much competitively and just in terms of his trick set, and he is so deserving of signature yo-yo. He's a good buddy of mine and just all around a great person to hang out with. So it brings me a lot of joy to see that he has finally designed a signature yo-yo that he loves and is able to use on stage. Connor recently used this yo-yo at the US National Yo-Yo Contest where he made finals, so it's kind of a true testament to this yo-yo's ability, especially with all the crazy tricks he threw at it. I'll also be sure to link Connor's Instagram in the description down below, so give him a follow when you're done with this video. So as usual with any of my reviews, I'm going to throw the specs of this yo-yo on the next screen. That way you guys can kind of get a baseline understanding as to what the yo-yo is about. From there, we'll chat a little bit about what I think of the shape and design of this yo-yo, and lastly, chat about the playability. Okay, so taking a look at the specs, we can see that the 55.6 diameter, that's a little bit on the oversized, I would say. Maybe just a tad bit, but honestly, most yo-yos in this day and age are getting bigger and wider, so it's kind of hard to tell what is normal at this point. The 47.3 millimeter width, again, that feels a little bit on the larger side in my standards. 64 grams is pretty middle of the road for a yo-yo, definitely more on the competition side since it isn't super heavy. And then it has a 7068 aluminum construction and then stainless steel rims on the end there. So 7068 is a more expensive grade of aluminum, but it's also a more durable one, which allows this yo-yo to withstand more impact. And then it's also got those stainless steel weight rims. So for the specs, there's nothing too crazy, but we can just kind of assume that this is a larger yo-yo made of durable aluminum and has stainless steel rims. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the design of this yo-yo. In my opinion, this is a very competition-oriented yo-yo. You can just kind of tell that by looking at the shape itself. As I mentioned before, this is a bimetal yo-yo, even though it doesn't kind of look like that in this colorway. It's also worth mentioning they've got a bunch of different colorways for this yo-yo. I'll throw them on the screen right there. This one kind of has a bead blasted finish on both the body and the rims, and it's worth noting that there are those stainless steel rims on the edge there, and then just an aluminum body for the rest of the yo-yo. But back to the conversation at hand, this is a super competition-oriented yo-yo. You can see that by just looking at how wide the shape is. It's a very accommodating shape. It's very open, so there's a large gap for the yo-yo to land on the string right there. And then those bimetal rims are chunky. They are huge. As you can see, they actually protrude from the yo-yo right there on the edge, which is a clear indicator that there's some serious weight being pushed out to the rims. In the middle there, you can also see that they've done a little bit of fine tuning right around the bearing seat. I believe that this special type of machining is used to reduce friction between the string and the yo-yo, so it'll spin longer, and if the yo-yo goes off axis, the string hitting against the side of the yo-yo won't have as great of an effect on reducing the spin time, which is awesome. These are all factors that you want to have for a competition yo-yo. But yeah, this shape is super nice, really comfortable to fit in the hand. It honestly kind of reminds me of the SF YoYo's Bliss CS. If you guys remember that yo-yo from quite a few years back, but honestly, what I just see in similarity in terms of the shape here is just how kind of wide and open that shape is. Obviously, the rims on both yo-yos are very different, but it just kind of seems reminiscent of the Bliss CS, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the playability section, but it's also plays a little bit similar to the Bliss CS. Now moving on over to the cup, we've got a pretty simple cup, but as you can see in the middle, it's got a really nice protruding inner center. It kind of pokes out of the yo-yo a little bit. I believe that this is used to increase the center weight of the yo-yo, which basically if you have a really rim weighted yo-yo, you need to balance the rim weight and the center weight to ensure that when it kind of flies off the string, it feels normal. But overall, the shape and design of this yo-yo is awesome. I love that center protruding right there to kind of balance out the rim weight. I love how beefy those rims are. And of course, I love my wide yo-yos, and this is definitely a wider yo-yo. It fits great in the hand. So let's talk a little bit about how the yo-yo plays. This is a very competition-oriented yo-yo, as I've mentioned before. This is incredibly rim-weighted. You can absolutely feel how much weight they pushed out there, and this is a very stable and long-spinning yo-yo. Out of all the yo-yos that I've tried and owned, this is definitely in the top echelon of rim-weighted and long-spinning yo-yos. This thing just feels so stable and secure on the string. It's insane. I'll throw a trick at it, and after the trick is done and I feel like I've completed it, I'll bind it back to my hand, and there is so much spin left over, which is a really reassuring feeling. Especially when you have a competition yo-yo, you don't want yo-yo dying out on stage, and so I really see the value in having a yo-yo that spins for just so long. This thing is actually so impressive. I really just found that when I was doing my tricks, one, the yo-yo really wouldn't get off axis even if I messed up the trick. So even if the trick went a little bit south, I wouldn't see the yo-yo tilt like crazy on me, which is a really good thing for competition. And secondly, when I was just doing my tricks, I found that this yo-yo just played so stable and secure. It really wasn't going anywhere. In terms of whether this is a light or heavy yo-yo, I would say it's kind of middle on the road, leaning more towards the heavy side. I would not call this a light yo-yo in terms of how it feels. Now, the spec of 64 grams may say otherwise, but in my opinion, I didn't find this to be like the most, super lightweight, nimble, very quick change of direction yo-yo. And now granted, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just personal preference. So if you're looking for a yo-yo that feels a little bit more secure on the string and you have a little bit slower play, this is still a great yo-yo. Now, that's not to say I couldn't get this yo-yo up to faster speeds, it's just saying that I had to put in a little bit more effort to get this yo-yo to change direction and to move at those faster speeds for longer periods of time than some other lighter, more floaty feeling yo-yos. I just wouldn't say that this is a floaty yo-yo. Again, not a bad thing, just personal preference. I also found that with this yo-yo, whip and hop tricks were really, really easy. As I mentioned before, the width is very accommodating, it's super large, and the gap just really allows the yo-yo to land on those strings. And so when I was doing my more difficult whip tricks, I found it lacing into the yo-yo really easily. And also when I was doing more difficult arm combos or hops and things like that, since the yo-yo is just so wide and accommodating, it was really easy to hit those tricks and also improve the consistency there. Again, that's a great point for competition, is when you're doing those competition tricks, you want a yo-yo that you can consistently hit the more difficult whips and hops. And since the yo-yo is very wide, it's going to make that a lot easier than a more narrow yo-yo. I also found that tech tricks were great with this yo-yo. Some people say that larger yo-yos make tech tricks more difficult, which in some cases they do, just because when you're in those tight string configurations, the yo-yo can kind of land on double strings or not feel as nimble in those more tight string configurations. But for this yo-yo, I didn't have any problems. I really found it pretty easy to blast through some of my tech tricks. I never found it taking up more space than it needed to, and I also didn't find this yo-yo landing on double strings. So in my opinion, this yo-yo was great for tech tricks, especially because it's also such a long spinning yo-yo. I was able to power through those tech tricks no problem, especially when there were multiple strings in the gap of the yo-yo at one time. It didn't really slow it down too much. Horizontal is also great with this yo-yo. It's got a really competition-oriented shape. I mean, you could probably predict this, but since it's such a long spinning and able yo-yo, I really didn't have any issues with horizontal combos. It actually lasted a lot longer than I expected for my horizontal combos, so I'd finish up a more difficult combo and find it had a lot more spin left, so that's kind of cool. It opens up the possibility for longer and more advanced horizontal tricks. And lastly, grinds with this yo-yo were fantastic, especially because I like the touch of having blasted rims. A lot of times when yo-yos have polished rims, if you, kind of touch the yo-yo accidentally, or if you're in competition and you actually accidentally hit it, it's really gonna die out in terms of the string. The nice thing about the HD and what they did here is if you want a polished rim yo-yo, they have other color combinations that are polished. However, this specific one has blasted rims, which means that it's a really smooth finish on those rims, but you're still reaping the benefits of a bimetal design. For competition specifically, I have actually steered away from certain yo-yos that I love because they have polished rims, because I'm worried that if I'm in competition and I accidentally touch the yo-yo or hit it, it's gonna die out on spin. But having blasted rims fixes the whole entire problem, because the entire yo-yo is able to spin just fine if you touch it. This is a really, really underrated feature and something I haven't seen in yo-yos, so I really want to emphasize that point. Alright, so in conclusion, the HD is a very impressive and able competition yo-yo. It's a little bit more on the heavy side, I wouldn't quite call it floaty, but some people might just find it middle of the road in terms of weight. It's a very, very competent yo-yo. This thing can power through your hardest tricks, your longest tricks, and if you mess up during competition and accidentally touch the yo-yo or it lands on multiple strings, it won't die out on you, which is a huge plus. I really, really enjoy this yo-yo, and I've also found it to be quite fun to play with because it's just It's a very satisfying throw in general. So if you're looking for a great able competition yo-yo, I think that the HD is a fantastic option. Alright, that's about it for my review of the HD. I want to thank MK1 YoYos once again for sending me this yo-yo, and another shout out to Connor for making such a great throw. If you guys did enjoy this review, be sure to leave a like, and also if you guys are new here and haven't seen my videos before, hit that subscribe button so you can see whenever I post a new video. I will be making some new tutorials in the next coming weeks and months, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited to teach you guys a couple new tricks. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.